NTA International News.
Federal Ministry of Information holds town hall meeting in southeast Nigeria, showcasing government efforts at promoting made-in-Nigeria goods. Nigerian Air Force holds annual medical outreach in Niger State. Plus, Gambian President Adama Barrow fires head of the country's prison service. Hello and welcome to NTA International News. I'm Joseph Johnson. The federal government has put machinery in motion for a gas industrial park that is valued at about $20 billion through a public-private partnership tagged the Gas Revolution Industrial Park, or Gidigben. It is envisaged to be a regional hub for all gas-based industries. The project will cover 2,700 hectares with fertilizer, methanol, petrochemicals and aluminum plant located in the park that has already been designated as a tax-free zone by the federal government. In what is called a gas revolution, acting President Yemi Osinbajo stated that the Buhari administration is committed to the development of the Niger Delta. He met with the international developers and investors of the project in Abuja this Monday. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the Acting President on Media and Publicity, Laulu Akonde, indicates that before he went on vacation, President Muhammadu Buhari had mandated the Vice President to embark on visits to oil-producing communities to demonstrate the resolve of the administration to the pursuit of a new vision for the Niger Delta. The building of an industrial gas hub in Ogodigben, Delta State, was one of the feedbacks that was received during the visit to the state. Turning to the legislature now, where the Senate Committee on Gas has queried the National Petroleum Investment Management Services, NAPIMS, over lack of due process during its presentation of the 2016 budget performance. While the company's account in 2017 showed a deficit balance, the committee believes that the account has some inconsistencies. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Ademuloye tells us more.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Gas, Bassi Albert Akpan, reminded NAPIMS that information available showed a total of $1.8 billion budgetary allocation balance for the company was carried over to 2016, while it received $3.8 billion in 2016, totaling $5.6 billion, out of which it spent $4.2 billion. The sum of $448 million was allocated to NAPIMS for gas infrastructure development projects in 2016, out of which $218 million was spent. The committee put the funding shortfall at $246 million, which NAPIMS should account for.
You have a balance of $200-something million. Is the money there? The balance is normally take money from. So the money is there? The money is there. The fiscal cash, everything is supposed to be with CBN. And what CBN normally does is, when we make this is actual CBN release, which means that you've been funded to this amount for 2016. I'm not talking about CBN. This actual CBN release. I think I'm satisfied if you tell that the money is there for gas infrastructure. For gas infrastructure, anytime they come up with their invoice.
The committee directed NAPIMS to submit details of shortfalls of funding for the gas infrastructure totaling $225 million. Meanwhile, the House Committee on Power has oversighted some projects, including the 215 megawatts dual-fired power plant in Kaduna and the 10 megawatt wind farm site in Katsina State.
I think that everything we've seen here is work in progress. We are satisfied with the power generation project, and we have a commitment from the contractor that they will all deliver before the last quarter.
The committee also paid a condolence visit to the family of late Representative Bello Sani. Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
The need for cooperation between the federal and state governments towards creating a conducive atmosphere for growth and development took center stage at the Southeast Town Hall meeting in Umuahia, Abia State. The meeting, organized by the Federal Ministry of Information, is aimed at promoting agriculture, solid mineral development, and showcasing the present administration's efforts towards encouraging made-in-Nigeria goods and services. Anthony Forson reports.
The setting was not any different from what has been the tradition. Cabinet ministers reeling out their scorecard to an audience that cut across all segments of society. Unveiling the Change Begins With Me campaign messages, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed amplified the central role Abia State is playing to industrialize Nigeria.
I can boldly say that Abia State is a pace setter. Today, the state supplies high-quality military boots to our military, and that is just one of such impressive ventures by the state.
The ministers toed the same line, were certain that Abia State is working in line with the federal government's determination to build a robust economy that is less dependent on oil.
The cashews we're going to produce here will also have to be processed. Vietnam is the #1 processor of cashew nuts now. And we're looking at about 6 major cashew processing factories in the country. So, since Abia is a processor, stand by for one.
Leather goods and garments and so on, where Aba is already world famous or well known. We want to make sure that we put one of the industrial zones that the federal government has approved in the budget. We want to make sure one of them comes as close as possible to Aba, because Aba is already a place where everybody that comes there agrees.
So Abia should embrace this program of Change Begins With Me and entrepreneurship with open arm.
This is the spirit that is needed in our country today, and this is the spirit that get us out of this recession, and this is the spirit that will strive to encourage the made-in-Nigeria goods.
Abia State Governor Okeze Ikpeazu expressed gratitude for obliging his state to host this special edition of the Town Hall Meeting Series to showcase Abia as an industrial haven.
Therefore, our aim and ambition is to get it right at first approximation. And the way to go is to be more diligent and careful and have a little more respect for our Commonwealth, not only in Abia but in Nigeria as a whole.
The governor maintained that Abia State is endowed with enormous resources that needs exploitation for both state and national development, as it has remained the trailblazer in industrialization in the country. In Umuahia, the Abia State capital, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And from the southeast, let's turn our attention to London, because Nigerians in the United Kingdom have commended new strategies employed by the federal government in the fight against corruption. They also appealed to the legislature and the judiciary to support the anti-graft agencies to achieve more. Bilkisu Abdurazak Odoye tells us more.
Since the introduction of the whistleblowing policy in the fight against corruption, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has made recovery of some looted funds. These developments, Nigerians in diaspora UK say, should be commended.
We've seen a lot of revelations. We've heard a few things. These are things Nigerians would not have heard if not for the leadership of General Muhammad Buhari.
We would never have thought, such monies would, can be taken out of the treasury.
Fight corruption now, the future of that country is bleak.
While speaking on the state of the nation, the diasporans called for more support, emphasizing that the fight against corruption is one that all Nigerians, irrespective of tribe and religion, should embrace.
We should look at it from down to the macro level.
If we can change our mindset and see these leaders as the enemy of the country, then the fight against corruption, as far as I'm concerned, is a win-win situation for the country.
The diaspora say the corruption is fighting back, gains have been recorded, and the momentum should be maintained. In London, Bilkisu Abdurazak Oduoye, NTA News.
And back home, a park that will promote creativity, technology, research and industrialization is set to be built in Nigeria. African representative of the United States Latino American Investors, Ifeoma Ejogu, said this at a meeting with the Minister of Science and Technology, Ogbonnaya Onu, in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has details.
Area with an estimated population of about 180 million people, with youths making up about half of the number, is now focusing on youth empowerment.
Unveiling of the City of Commerce.
The Innovation Park leader of the delegation said will be named the City of Commerce, that will help turn the creativity and innovation of the Nigerian youth to wealth, towards ensuring that they are gainfully employed and self-reliant. This initiative, the Minister of Science and Technology said, is a welcome development.
Such a city will promote science and technology, is going to promote creativity, inventiveness, innovation. So we are hoping that this will help us in this very big assignment that we have in the ministry to prepare our people for the future. And the future depends really on our appreciation and application of science and technology to nation building.
The level of unemployment in Africa is so alarming. Building the City of Commerce is going to be an avenue of bringing solution to this, because there's going to be job creation, there's going to be wealth creation, there's going to be abundance of food from our integrated agriculture, and there's going to be education.
The park will be fully funded by the Latino American Chamber of Commerce. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Chairman of the Coordinating Committee on the Abuja-Kaduna Airport Movement, Captain Muhammad Georgie, says all necessary equipment and logistics are being finalized for seamless operations at the Kaduna International Airport as from 8th March. He was speaking on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The deadline set by the federal government to relocate flight operations from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to Kaduna for 6 weeks is just about 9 days away. To shed more light on the preparations for the movement, Chairman of the Coordinating Committee on the Abuja-Kaduna Airport Movement, Captain Muhammad Georgie, and an aviation expert, Dan Omale, said the cooperation of Nigerians is required to make the exercise successful.
During the 6 weeks, there will be 8,700 aircraft movement, which is about 200 movement a day, 200 and some movement a day. Then there will be 14,423 passengers daily. All that has been taken care of. So the airlines, there are some airlines we understood they don't want to move, but for the reason best known to them. But from these statistics, we are well in order. We are ready to accommodate them in Kaduna.
This is a major decision, and what we're talking about is safety. It's not about money now. Let's forget money. Let's put money aside.
An airline operator, however, shared the contrary opinion, saying that the relocation will dwindle operations within the period it will last.
The numbers of flights that are operating out of Abuja won't be possible in Kaduna for so many reasons. We've been operating out of Abuja to Benin, Enugu, and Asaba. That won't be possible in Kaduna because you won't travel 4 hours from Abuja to Kaduna to go and fly from Abuja, from Kaduna to Asaba or Kaduna to Benin. You can equally spend that 4 hours from here to Benin or Asaba or Enugu, and you are at home.
Both the police and the Nigerian Immigration Service said that they are satisfied with the preparations being made so far.
Equipments are available. We are only waiting for government. We have written to government that we need to buy certain equipment.
We're going to also use the police helicopter, and also the Nigerian Air Force have agreed that they're going to fly over and then do a kind of operation that will give confidence to everyone.
The guests expressed hope that the benefits of the temporary relocation will endure while the challenges will be minimized on air travelers. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
A bit on security, 117 Air Combat Training Group of the Nigerian Air Force in New Busa has held its annual medical outreach for residents of Bargu local government area of Niger State. The exercise, which is part of the corporate social responsibilities to the host communities, is aimed at improving the already existing peaceful coexistence in the area. Abdullahi Ibrahim reports.
The Nigerian Air Force Medical Outreach is an annual event organized to provide free medical treatment and diagnosis to the residents of the host communities. the commander, 117 Air Combat Training Group, Nibusa, squadron leader Kembo Maidawa, while flagging off the 2017 exercise, called on the residents of the area to avail themselves with the rare opportunity given to them to accessing free medication. The exercise provided include eye-related ailments, malaria, fever, and high blood pressure, as well as HIV tests and other illnesses complained of by the patients. Patients who have assessed the intervention express their gratitude.
I feel the need for us also to give back to the community. So as a result of that, one of them is this medical outreach which today we are witnessing.
One for people who don't know their status. This is a great opportunity for one to know his status.
Earlier, the Emir of Bargu, Alhaji Muhammad Sani Halor Antoroki Toro IV, thanked the officers and men of Nigerian Air Force for sustaining the program. The program is expected to last for 3 days. In New Busa, Abdullah Ibrahim, NTA News.
The co-chair of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, French Gates, last month was the guest of the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari. The visit is part of efforts to promote health and economic status of women and children in Nigeria.
Let me at this point affirm my commitment to continue to advocate and mobilize resources to improve the lives of women and children in Nigeria. I thank you for the interest that you are showing in my Future Assured program, and I hope that this visit will strengthen the collaboration for the benefit of women and children and other less privileged people in Nigeria.
The full package of the visit and other activities of the wife of the president will be aired at 10:30 tonight on the network service of the NTA. All stations are advised to stay tuned. This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Stay tuned for more stories after the break. You're welcome back. You're watching NTA International News with me, Joseph Johnson. Nigeria is working towards self-sufficiency in wheat production as the production of the commodity has increased from 70,000 tons to 400,000 tons in 2016. Musa Babali reports that Nigeria and 12 African countries set year 2025 as the year to stop the importation of wheat to the continent.
Demand, supply and production of wheat have over the years remained a challenge to African countries, while the consumption of the produce and its products is on the increase. The continent is spending over $15 billion yearly on importation of the produce, with Nigeria alone consuming imported wheat worth over $5 billion every year. However, a study conducted by the Agricultural Research for Development of Strategic Crops in Africa discovered that the continent has the capacity, land and climate suitable for the production of wheat.
Initially, our varieties yield very low, yielding between 1 to 1.5 tons per hectare. Now we have varieties that can yield up to 6 tons per hectare.
This project is developing a technology that makes our farmers more competitive, and this technology is also meeting the requirements of the millers and wheat industries.
Nigeria is among the 12 countries that have keyed into the African Wheat Production Project, which has resulted in the increase of wheat on the continent.
If we have no research that informs policymakers about the totality of support that is given in countries with whom we are competing and from whom we are importing wheat. We are likely to continue penalizing our wheat value chain participants.
The international conference on wheat taking place in Abuja is to review the success story on the production of wheat in Nigeria. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Let's talk business now, and here is Olanka Ojo with the latest.
Welcome to Business News. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, says the number of domestic airlines in the country has dropped from 150 to 8 in the last 17 years. General Manager Public Relations of NCAA, Sam Adrogboe, who said this, maintained that the decline was as a result of lack of proper corporate governance and inability to fulfill safe operations, rather than multiple charges as some of the airlines had claimed. Tunisian Finance Minister says is likely to sell stakes in 3 state-owned banks this year and cut up to 10,000 public sector jobs as part of reforms demanded by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, which has postponed payments of the second tranche of loan. The minister also added that the government is ready to launch a new push on the reforms package in the public sector, banking sector, state companies and taxes. Oil prices rose on Monday as investors showed record confidence in prices rising further, though gains were capped by the prospect of faster growth in U.S. oil production. OPEC's record compliance with deal has surprised the market, and the biggest laggards, the United Arab Emirates and Iraq, have pledged to catch up with their targets. A quick check at trading on the floor of Monday's equities markets. And that does it on the business segment of the news. I am Olayinka Ojo. The news continues.
And Oku Ekpeyong has the stories trending in other parts of the world.
Kenya's government has announced a ban on state advertising in commercial media in the country, a move intended to cut costs. The government says it spent about $20 million on advertising on state tenders, job positions, and public announcements. Gambian President Adama Barrow has fired the head of the country's prison service, who oversaw almost 2 decades of alleged torture and mistreatment under ex-ruler Yahya Jammeh. Barrow dismissed David Colley, who had served as the head of the Gambia prison service since 1997, with only several short breaks in his leadership. Away from Africa, rainstorms and landslides in Chile have contaminated a major river, forcing the authorities to cut off drinking water to 4 million people in the capital, Santiago. Officials said the water supply from the Mayopo River would be cut to most of the city. Oku Ekpeyong, NTA News.
Let's bring sports news now. Navy game opens in Uyo as Nigerian beach volleyball teams prepare for World Championship qualifier. Deinde Sani reports.